Hi guys, my name is Darren from Forever Rovers, your fan channel for the latest Doncaster Rovers news, transfer reports and rumours. We've got loads of stuff to react to in this video. Darren Moore's press conference reaction after the 1-0 defeat to Shrewsbury last night. You can see my match review on the channel already. Go and watch it, it's well worth a watch. Also, we're going to look at Tom Anderson's comments and sort of look at what this means and sort of this is all my reaction to the comments, basically. We're also going to briefly mention Arsenal, because we mentioned that in the Daily Reports just a couple of days ago, because they slumped to another defeat. Obviously, Brentford beat Newcastle in the Carabao Cup as well. We're going to react a little bit to that as well. And also look ahead to Everton, Man United and Stoke versus Tottenham a little bit. Not too much, because this is a Donny channel, but just a little bit talk about the Carabao Cup. But let's get started straight away. So, obviously, you know my thoughts on the Shrewsbury match. I did feel like we performed poorly in the second half, and I think the reflection in the manager's comments and Tom Anderson's comments definitely reflected that. But they are looking ahead. Then they're sort of, you know, I think that what you'll know from the press conference reaction statements from Moore and Tom Anderson on his 100th appearance is interesting indeed. So please like, comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you never miss another video. And for now, let's get straight into this and look at Darren Moore's comments on the situation before we look at Tom Anderson's comments on the match. So funnily enough, actually, I saw Darren Moore on Sky Sports this morning because he was talking about him putting his name on a letter to call for more of a look into the research into linking football and dementia, which is, you know, fair play to Darren Moore, really good for you to do that. And I do feel like we need more protection for players for things like dementia, etc., and heading the ball. You know, because, you know, someone else said it on Sky Sports this morning. The FA have done nothing for 20 years about it, so I think it's time we need to do something about it, especially for the next generation of stars, and the stars that are playing at the minute as well. So let's look into this. So Darren Moore's comments on the Shrewsbury match, officially to the Free Press, his official statement. Now Darren Moore said, "We're disappointed because here at Doncaster Rovers we don't want to lose games." That's straight away is the mentality that I want at this football club. We don't like to lose games. That's the mentality I want at this football club, and it's clear that he wants that mentality as well. So continuing on, for the supporters that are disappointed, I can understand it. Thank you for acknowledging the fans. From the outside, they were looking at us to go top of the league, but at the same time, look at the opportunity we had got for ourselves where we could have gone top of the league. Agreed. It shows that we've been doing things right. I agree. We have been doing things right. We've got a couple of slip-ups here and there, but overall, it's been a great season so far. Yes, be disappointed, but at the same time, be happy that we're in a position where we could have gone top of Christmas. That's a big statement because I think it's very, very clear from the review that I did last night. I was disappointed with the second half especially, but I did say if you'd have said that we would have potentially gone top of the league at Christmas, I'd have snapped your hand off. So you have to take that into account as well. Now he did go on then to say, but I'm going to say that if we've gone top at Christmas, there's still a lot of football to be played with us being so early into the season, and we're still catching up with teams because we played less games. I agree. While we are disappointed, we move on ready for Boxing Day against Accrington Stanley. They're one of the underdogs of the season. I'll talk more about that in my match preview on Friday. But my God, Accrington's a tough opponent on Saturday. They're a tough one, and we need to get past them to be within a chance of the title. But yes, I think that's the big comment really. It's sort of so early on in the season, you can't tell who's going to finish top at the minute. You can only tell that with about 10 games to go, 10, 15 games to go at max. Who's going to be top, or top 2, or top 6. But it's such a tight season still, we don't know who's going to be top. But I tell you what, we are definitely in a title race. You know, we might not have gone top last night, but we are still in a title race, and Darren Moore's really trying to, you know, get that point across that we've not gone top, but we are still, you know, in a good position, a really good position. Now, on the actual performance, he said these following comments, which would be interesting to react to. From my perspective, and I said this to the boys, I'm really happy with the performance. Interesting. Let's read on a bit more, though. I always look for a performance from the players, and I don't tend to look too much at the result. The boys gave a good account of themselves, and I felt we dominated the game from start to finish. That's interesting. We got done by a set play, so you're always disappointed by that, but it's what it is, and we move on. I thought in the first half we pulled them apart in terms of the system they had, and we exposed it to great effect. That bit I agree with, but the fact that we dominated from start to finish, I think that's a little 50-50, that statement. I think that in the second half, Shrewsbury got into the game more. They put us under more pressure. They didn't play for the draw like they were in the first half. They were playing for a 0-0 in that first half. And they got their wish. And then they sort of won 1-0 in the end. And they sort of played to their strength and got back in their defensive shape. So they did it against Hull. They did it against Lincoln. We couldn't have fallen into the trap. And people say online, no Sims, no wins. That's untrue. And I said that on the review last night. Now, he also made some additional comments on Rayhaan Tulloch. This is a positive update. He's got a scan in the next 10 days, I think by the 31st of December or the 1st, speaking about the 1st of January. Hopefully that scan will reveal that they're happy. They just want to make sure before he returns back, so hopefully that one we can get the thumbs up. So it's great to hear that Tulloch is on his way back. Gomez should be back in the new year. Sims is out for 6 weeks overall, so I think 5 weeks left and he'll be back for the new year as well, if we keep him. And Tulloch hopefully will get the thumbs up in the next 10 days. So positive news on the injury front, but hopefully we can get these players back and get them, eased back into this side. Now Tom Anderson, his comments have been really interesting to read as well. He said this to the Yorkshire Post on the whole game and performance. It was frustrating. Again, first statement straight away, frustrating. That's what I felt as a fan watching that. It was frustrating to see Shrewsbury play so deep in the first half as 5 at the back, and you could see it when they brought on this guy Tracy, and he was an attacking player. He kept attacking them, kept putting us under pressure. We didn't offer anything on goal, and for the last couple of minutes of the game, including the added time, they brought in Goldborn, which is a left back or a left wing back. So they played attacking 5 at the back, and then they played defensive 5 at the back for the last couple of minutes to ease out the 1-0 win. So defensively, they were in a good shape. We couldn't break them down. So they played to their strengths, and it was frustrating as a fan, but I'm sure as a player it was really frustrating. So I agree with that from Tom. Continuing on, he did say, the performance was there, but the result wasn't. Shrewsbury are well drilled, and Steve Cottrell has gone in, and they are doing very well at it. Somehow we like to lose to Steve Cottrell sides. I don't know. But we've got to be more creative and move it quicker in the first half. We did it well, and they did a few tactical changes in the second half and made it more difficult for us. It's still down to us to break them down. Brilliant statement by Tom Anderson. It shows he's a vice-captain, and if Ben Whiteman does go in the summer, he is the captain to slip into that role when Coppinger retires as well. So he really is, developing that captain's mentality if Ben Whiteman goes in the summer, which he won't do in my opinion. Speaking again, he said they worked hard to get across the pitch well, and when the striker drops in, it's 2 blocks of 5, but we should have taken something from the game. We have to dust ourselves down, not get too down about it, and focus on the next game. I was disappointed, but I'm going to look forward to Accrington Stanley on Saturday. Sometimes it does not happen in football. We should have kept the back door shut and conceded from a set piece, and for myself, I am not happy with it. I agree. We cannot be too down about it. We have been on a good run, and one bad result won't change that, and we'll get ourselves going again. Hopefully we do, because Accrington, like I said, are one of the underdogs of the season, along with Crewe and Blackpool. Crewe, Blackpool and Accrington are my underdogs for this season for a top 6 finish. So, pay close attention to those 3 sides, and if we beat them, we narrowed a result against Blackpool, and Crewe we got a defeat 2-1. So, if we can beat Accrington and then beat them in the reverse fixtures in the second half of the season, then we might have a chance of putting to bed the underdog sides. But these are the sides we've got to beat to gain a title race. Now he says, it's weird times at the minute, and we have to take each game as it comes and not look too far ahead or look back. We have to make sure we recover right and eat well and work hard in training to prepare. Great statement. Accrington have done well, and they're a hard-working team who stick together, and we have to be right on it. Agreed. Once again, absolutely 100% agree with those statements from Tom Anderson. They had to be on it. Against Accrington, they had to 100% be on the ball. They had to be on the money. So we'll preview Accrington on Friday, but let's look at the Carabao Cup, because my goodness me, let's chat for a little bit about Arsenal. we could face them next season. I know it's a cup game and they're out, and it's not 3 points. That's the positive for them. They're not dropping 3 points this time. But on Chelsea on Boxing Day, that might be a different story. But Arsenal they were a calamity. I was listening to the updates while I was watching the Shrewsbury match, because it kicked off 15 minutes after we kicked off. And listening to the games, my God, Arsenal conceded in 2 minutes? Then they equalised, then it was 2, then 3, then 4. I watched the highlights back. Runnison was terrible. And if you want my opinion on Arsenal, I said it in that Daily Reports. I said about Arsenal, I said, they're just... You can't just put it down to the manager. You can't just put it down to the manager because he's only got to work with what he has. You've got to blame the players. You've got to blame the board. The Kroenkes have not backed this manager. They've come out and said they'll back Arteta in January. If they only give him 1 player or 2 players and one of them's for next season, that's not backing a manager. It doesn't matter whether it's the summer or January or March or bloody Never Neverland times. To back a manager, you rip the squad apart and you start again. My worry is that the Kroenkes, and I know this already, the Kroenkes are the type of ownership that will go, well, we'll bring in 1 extra player. It might be a rotational player, but we'll bring him in anyway. We'll see you guys get relegated, and then we'll rip the squad apart, and then we'll start investing in the Championship. That's my problem as an outside fan with another owner. I feel sorry for Arsenal fans, I really, really do. Hopefully we do face you next season, and that's not being in a banterous way, that's just being in a sympathetic way, because hopefully we can be a part of your rebuild if you rip the squad apart in the summer if you are relegated to the Championship. And like I said in the past update, it's not impossible that Arsenal will be relegated. I'm not ruling it out. I think some people would have ruled it out, but I'm one of those real fans from the outside perspective that's not ruling out relegation for them. And, you got to look at Leeds. Leeds were doing Champions League football. They were facing different teams from Europe. 2004, administration, relegation. It took them 16 years to get back. And it took Bielsa to get back to the Premier League. And they went down to the Championship and even to League One. I'm not saying Arsenal will go down to League One, but Leeds went down to the Championship as well as League One to get back to the Premier League. And, maybe relegation for Arsenal's a good thing. Maybe the Kroenkes will see that. They'll sell the club once they're in the worst kind of form. When Arsenal's confirmed to be in the Championship, maybe Kroenke will come out and say, well, we've relegated the club now because we didn't back the manager. I'm going to sell up and go. He's basically passing the blame on to someone else. Edu's not got much experience in his role. Kroenke doesn't know football. Josh Kroenke doesn't know football. The Brazilian guy, not Edu, but the other guy that's been mentioned, this Tapia, I think that his name is. I'm not too sure. But I think he's the agent of Willian and David Luiz and the Brazilians and stuff like that. I think they're making the club worse. I think Arsenal's in a really bad place. They've got Chelsea, they've got Brighton, they've got West Brom. If they lose to Chelsea, already in trouble. If they lose to Brighton and West Brom under Graham Potter and the brand new West Brom boss Sam Allardyce, Jesus Christ. They're going to be in the gutter. They're going to be in the trenches, fighting in the foxhole with relegation teams like Burnley, Fulham and Sheffield United and West Brom. West Brom and Brighton are 6-point games now, and especially if they lose to Chelsea on Boxing Day. But now talking about Newcastle-Brentford. 1-0 Brentford. Brentford go through to the semis. Newcastle are out. Pressure on Steve Bruce. Again, Mike Ashley didn't back a manager. Steve Bruce doesn't know what he's doing. Is it time for Bruce to go? People have seen that disappointed Bruce face before at Sunderland. Is it time for Bruce to go? We don't know, but congratulations to Brentford. Josh De Silva. My goodness me, that's a brilliant performance. And then tonight, Everton, Man U, Stoke, Tottenham. I think Tottenham will beat Stoke, and I think that Everton and Man U might share a draw. I think that it might be a draw, or it might be a win either way, but I can't really predict that. Because Man U have been in great form, but Everton might win if Man U put out a second team ready for the Leicester match on Boxing Day with the first team. So we'll see what happens. But there we go, guys. Thank you very, very much for watching this Daily Reports reacting to the press conferences after yesterday's defeat. See you guys for another Daily Reports probably tomorrow, and also guys there'll be a preview on Friday for the match against Accrington, as well as the review on the Saturday evening. And for now guys, thank you very, very much. My name is Rayhaan Tulloch from Forever Rovers, and that, my friends, is full time.